got ourselves Katarina over on team 1 as an arcane mage with Jareem, also as double arcane. We got Kiosca over here, just the madman tonight with Plush. Actually popped off and Smog coming back in. I like the goggles. I like the, actually the Mog itself is kind of unique too. It's a lot of little bits that just don't quite fit together super well, but like not uniform together like a set, but they're pretty close to one another. I also like the offhand you got going on versus Dirk's over on that team. We got us a tier as well as a Bliv joined back in. This time on a Frosty Mage. Now it's going to be first up as a Warrior leaping in versus the Dragon immediate defensive stance. As it's going to be a Shroud out for Smog. Got himself a little bit of that Shatter versus Naux. Fire Breath into Turning Surge. Deep Breath as Naux just going for a trinket. Going to be the Dragon trying to see if he can get away from the guy with a big Disintegrate. Trying to avoid him as best as possible. Naux with a big Draconic Roar of his own. As Naux takes a lot of damage. Sleepwalk to follow as the man tried to back up out of the big Disintegrate to follow. Nax got himself a little bit of shielding as long as Smog can get in and at least do some kind of damage to Nax. Keep the pressure rolling. You will deny the second win. Man charges in with a big heal. There's going to be a knockback last second. Nox, not a lot of health available. Big Brock and Smog does, and I'm taking him out. My goodness. That is a lot of damage from the Dragon, man. My goodness. That is a lot. Stunned by Death Palace. He got himself full Crusade. That's going to be immunity for Smog. Big hammer hanging over the man's head. He got himself a wall. He's got to find a way out of this situation. Trying to go for Sleepwalk. Does get to avoid the damage out of Dev. And I think that was just a wall that gave him immunity to cast. Yes, he's got it. He's got a hammer hanging over the man's head. Maybe he could go some kind of defensive. I actually don't think he can do much. Last second, no health at all. I think it's just over from a man Smog. No, wait a second. Trying to live as best as he can. Trying to go for a knockup on a Death Pally. But as soon as he got so damage ramped up and ready to go, it was just over. But the burst was just fantastic out of that thing. Blessing of protection for Dev though. Speaking about another Dev, got himself full go versus Plush. Trying to see if he can maybe get some damage in. Keeping the pressure on the Rogue right around the corner with that Hand of Freedom staying on him as best as possible. Maybe Wake of Ashes to get the guy out in the open. No. Trying though. One that was used like while he was right on the other side of the pillar, since Wake of Ashes, even though I didn't really like it, does kind of go through walls. So that would keep the Rogue in combat and slow him down, making it harder for him to stay away from ya. Full stun on Dev, taking a big hits back-to-back Plus, trying to see if he can get the pressure going. Big blind out of Pal, but not much you can really do past that as Plus looking to escape out of this scot-free, backing up away from Dev Pally as best as possible. As Pala mounting up, have himself second immunity, Trinket, Human Racial, available in 10 seconds actually. Taking a bit of damage, does go for the bubble. Try to see if he can stop the Rogue. That is going to be a trick out of the Rogue. If you can somehow slow him down and keep the pressure on the guy, he's going to go for a Vanish, try to avoid you. Hammer hanging over the man's head yet again. Pally did it, going for full wings, trying to see if he can Wake Up Ashes the Rogue out, but he's nowhere in sight. As Splash does that to back it up away as good of a distance as he can. Has himself Human Racial in just a handful of seconds though, so maybe something you can work right now. Ban Rogues, maybe, just maybe. Does go for the Human Racial wall really early on. Shield of it is very, so does use it. The Rogue has an out, he has a cloak, he has everything right now, so whatever you do, you just gotta be careful. And yet another hammer? No, not yet. At least Death Pal. Big Shield breaks it. Plus just kept going in. Big damage back to back. This is where Death Pal, all you have to do, I think you have to play for like a damage over time build. If you got like a Blade of Justice build with dots or a Wake of Ashes dot thing, if you can run those and keep the Rogue out of stealth, that would help. But man, that is rough. The hammer though, it's kind of easy to avoid as long as the Rogue cap presses the Vanish. Plus getting damage turned around by Tyr though, Trinket out of the other Rogue really quickly. Secret technique, but really doesn't have the evasive rate damage right afterwards. Trying to see if he can give himself a bit of a go. Tyr with a Cloak of Shadows evasion up for Plush. Just trying to see if he can avoid the guy a little bit, building some comp points here and there. Just sees another stun go gouge right after. Looking for an escape. If Tyr stays on top of the man, maybe you keep the pressure rolling in, but no, I think Plush, you're just looking for an entire escape. Plush does come out, picking up the eye, found a nice for Tyr, does get hit with a cheap shot Trinket immediately for the guy. It's going to be a Plush getting back in. Tyr, not a lot of health available. Cloak of Shadows right after. Cheap shot just looking mostly for an escape, and he has to put a rupture on the guy to go for a Vanish. Could go for a blind. Evasion up right now. Does go for cheap right after. Plus is not so cheap long at all, but it's going to be Cold Blood. Vanish to follow as a full big burst comes out, but I guess Tyr doesn't really get any value since it just escapes the shadowy images from the secret technique. I think it's just over. Yeah, Plus does end up getting himself that win at the end of the day. All right, Obliv. You have to be the man to win this. You got Cat, Kioska, Jareem, and plus you gotta find a way to take down the rogue and fight through the rest of them, man. The best in the rest of them. Dropping down blizzards, dropping our orbs. As long as you got a ring of fire in there, Plush is gonna take a lot of damage. Nothing you can do. Blink immediately for Obliv. Plush got nothing left. Just a couple of lances taking him out. If you could zone these boys around the pillar and just do that much damage every time, that would be huge. Try to see if you can walk away from Cat, keeping the slows onto Katarina. Actually getting quite a decent bit of shatter value into a trinket. As it is going to be a blink breath. It's going to be full burst out of a blitz, trying to go for frostbolts. Katarina just takes a big frostbolt and just says, you know what? I don't want to find out what that damage is going to do. Full cooldown reduction for Obliv. Full ray of frost. Does get a juke. Oh, perfect juke for Obliv. Wait a second. Hold on a moment. What is happening now? Ring of fire on the corner. Blizzard right after. This is where Obliv definitely needs to go behind the pillar. Polymorph right after as Katarina's trying to have himself a proper go. Obliv looking maybe at a potential ice block. Shadow Mill for just a second. Breath to follow. You do have double block. You may just want to double block it. All the time available in case you're going to be big trouble. Just trying to see if you can avoid the guy as best as you can. You may just want all the time at some point. Block. Block. There it is. But Katarina does need to get some cooldown reduction though. But for Obliv, does end up going in for a burst by the looks of it with Ice Form. Not a lot of healing available at 65% dampening, but if you can get yourself a big shatter maybe potentially, it's like just maybe over. Doesn't trip on Arcane. Maybe you can get some food. I don't really know if you can. Trying to sit down and get as much of a grub as you possibly can. Big barrage of missiles will just end. Yeah, I think it's just over. Yeah, not much you can do. This high dampening though is just like everybody goes in for blood, man. No one's gonna give each other even a moment. Big secret technique takes them out very quickly. It's gonna be down to Kioska. That or Jareem. I think it is Kioska. I think it is Kioska. I think it is Kioska, yeah. Jarek's at least walking into this one with full cooldowns. Yeah, it is Kioska. It is Kioska. A bit of a rematch between the two. I feel like these two have dueled each other a couple of times. And every time Kioska somehow, some way squeaked out a victory. Cheap shot opener as he goes in for a shadowy duel into a freezing trap. This Kioska is giving himself some opportunity to back away. Explosive shot. Just someone to Dirks. Does step over. There's going to be a death shotgun. He's going to just have to take that thing with him behind the pillar with the pet rushing after you. Taking a bit of that damage, but as slow is going to get you out to put flare down to make sure you don't get a proper advantage. Gouge onto Kioska. Kidney shot onto the pet. Cheap shot onto Kioska. Maybe a racial out of this one. No, he doesn't go for the human racial or nothing. It's going to be a scatter onto Dirks. As he goes up for the secret technique, I think if you scatter him on the secret technique, I don't think you actually take damage from secret. Because technically secret does spawn these images that attack for you that can be targeted, but then you need a target, and if you CC'd or far away from the enemy, or if they become invisible, I don't think you actually take a hit because of the delay factor, or at least the shadowy portion of that hit. Shrink out our Dirks though. Evasion, freezing trap to stop him in place. Had himself a cloak in case he needs to. Kiosk is in a decent spot. He doesn't have a way to break out of a stun right now though. It's going to be a reset for Dirks. Does avoid the tar trap or steel trap immediately with a tar to remove the weapons from his hand. Scatter right after with explosive. Big damage with Dirks. Does go in for a cheap shot with a cloak shot right after. It's going to be Kiosk with no health. Turtle can follow. Dirks just barely has any health. Cheat death right after. Grenade to follow. Gouge to just what you can do left. You can't stun the guy. You just gotta get the eviscerate you need. I think it's just over. Oh, goes in for cold blood. But Kioska does end up taking him out. This man, every time he's faced a rogue, he's always gotten them. All night, man. All evening long. My goodness. Man. That is so good. Oh. That was a long one, chat. It got really ridiculously fast at the end, but the rogue games definitely slowed it down just a hair.